The song Defying Gravity doesn't just defy gravity, it defies expectations. Its brilliance lies in its subtle, genius use of musical storytelling, masterfully crafted by composer Stephen Schwartz. This video is meant to be the most in-depth look at the musical score of Defying Gravity and uncovering the secrets that makes it such a powerful song. This iconic anthem closes Act 1 of the 2003 stage musical Wicked and serves as the climactic finale of the recent Wicked Part 1 movie adaptation. Over the years, Defying Gravity has transcended the confines of musical theater to become a powerful song emblematic of empowerment and transformation. And it's an absolute bop. Its success is a testament to Stephen Schwartz's expertise. With a career spanning Broadway and Hollywood, Schwartz has an uncanny ability to blend musical and narrative elements seamlessly. In Defying Gravity, he employs composition techniques that elevate the song's emotional weight and thematic significance. To fully grasp the song's power, we must understand its role in Wicked. This reimagining of The Wizard of Oz explores the lives of Elphaba and Glinda, two women whose friendship is tested by ambition, societal pressures, and opposing ideologies. At this turning point, Elphaba uncovers the truth about the wizard's corrupt regime. Faced with a choice to conform or rebel, she chooses defiance, embracing her identity and vowing to fight against oppression. Defying Gravity marks her transformation, both literal and metaphorical, as she rises above societal constraints, literally taking flight. Schwartz chose the title Defying Gravity for its duality. He reflected, "I kept coming back to Defying Gravity because I like the word defying. She's in a defiant mood, and because the title had both a literal meaning, she was going to fly, and a metaphorical one." Remarkably, this song underwent minimal revisions, unlike others in the show, such as Dancing Through Life, which required 3 drafts. For Schwartz, Defying Gravity was near perfect from its inception. Next up, we'll look at all of the unexpected and surprising composition details that makes this song soar. But before that, I want to take a moment to thank all my viewers. Please subscribe to watch so much more similar content and consider becoming a free or paid patron on Patreon to help support the work I do. Additionally, I recently started a new channel, The Instrument Makers, which has been doing very well. In it, I make videos about people who make instruments and hear their stories. Please consider checking that out too. Elphaba and Glinda begin in anger at each other and sing, "I hope you're happy."
I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. I hope you're happy how you've heard your cause forever.
The chords that emphasize the accompaniment doesn't really solidify what key we're in. These chords just ascend and descend chromatically, keeping us in a sense of unease. We can really hear the discontent and disagreements in these chords.
I hope you're proud how you look around.
Then we get this transformation motif. We'll get back to this theme later, in addition to this theme.
But then I wanted a theme or a musical sound that was her true power, her strength, and what would we hear when she came into that? And that was this. Then became the motif for Defying Gravity. And again, I wanted something that just sounded like a building awareness, self-awareness of one's own power.
In the next section, Glinda tries her last chance to convince Elphaba to see the wizard.
You can still be with the wizard.
It's the same theme they sing in The Wizard and I. However, instead of "When I See the Wizard,"
When I meet the wizard, once I prove my worth.
it is "You can still be with the wizard."
You can still be with the wizard. What you've worked and waited for, you can have all.
And of course, the context of the scene has now altered the accompaniment to be more demure. Elphaba then explains why she can't go forward and that she is undergoing a change.
Something has changed within me.
So to represent this transformation, we get the transformation theme, but it's stripped down to its basic elements, just the start and end of the chord progression. The tremolo strings do a lot here to add to the suspense. Schwartz has also stated he purposely wrote it in D flat, as it sounds the most grand.
This very first sound is, to me, very strong. It's in D flat, which is the strongest sound on a piano.
In this verse, talking about holding suspense and holding space, we are in the key of D flat, but the music keeps us away from arriving back into our comfortable home key of D flat, as if the music is also being defiant as well. There are moments that seem to almost make us return. For instance, whenever we have this A flat chord, this chord has tension that wants to bring us back to D flat.
And leap
The reason why the A-flat chord has this power of tension is because it is what we call a 5 chord. A-flat is the 5th note of the D-flat scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And no matter which key we are in, this 5th note, making this 5 chord, wants to resolve back to the 1. We might expect to now go back to our home key of D-flat, but now being at the chorus, Elphaba now decides to defy gravity. We now defy expectations and continue getting chords that dance around our key. And only at the end of the chorus at You Can't Pull Me Down, we finally get back to our home key of D-flat.
And you can't pull me down.
At the end of the verse, Glinda pops in with, Can't I make you understand you're having delusions of grandeur? Which is actually the same melody from The Wizard of Oz. Glinda, yes, this same Glinda, instructs Dorothy to follow the yellow brick road.
All you do is follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
Oh, can't I make you understand? You're having delusions of grandeur.
That Stephen Schwartz is a genius!
A fun homage and foreshadowing. Anyways, Elphaba repeats the entire verse and chorus again, this time with more certainty, as also represented by the music that keeps chugging forward.
I sit defying gravity.
In the next section, Elphaba seamlessly offers her hand to Glinda, asking Glinda if she wants to join her. We then have the Unlimited theme.
Unlimited. Together we're...
Something we've gotten a lot before in the musical, and also a theme that is famously an Easter egg from The Wizard of Oz, the melody to Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Unlimited. Together we're...
The first notes of the melody are identical. Of course, the harmony, lyrics, and rhythm are different. This melody in itself is masterfully written by Harold Arlen. In it, Dorothy is yearning for something greater in life, a classic I Want song. And thus, her melody quite literally leaps from the bottom to the top of the scale. Here is the same, in which Elphaba is yearning for something greater and is on her way to achieving it.
Unlimited. Together we're...
And now, speaking of which, this little motif that we get is a version of this Unlimited theme, but sped up and with this extra note added. A fun fact about me, about 10 years ago, I had Wicked connections that allowed me to sit in the pit next to the conductor for a Thanksgiving matinee performance. I sat next to the keyboard 3 player, who allowed me to play this part for one of the songs. And thus, I made my Broadway debut. Anyways, back to the song. We continue with a poignant moment in which Glinda joins Elphaba in singing the chorus, which shows Glinda has now accepted and supports Elphaba's journey.
Just you and I defying gravity. With you and I.
And she expresses this with, I hope you're happy, a callback from the beginning of the song. But now, it is sung earnestly, and instead of harsh attacking chords,
I hope you're happy.
we have these sustained chords.
I hope you're happy.
After some quick dialogue, Elphaba both figuratively and literally soars into the final verse and chorus. As she flies, she sings the verse an octave higher in a belting register. In fact, this is something that Idina Menzel, the original Elphaba, experimented with in early workshops, as it was originally written an octave lower. Schwartz loved the choice and approved of it. As we build towards the end of the song, we have a vocal line that repeats the same melody, while the chords under it keep changing, giving it rising tension.
Nobody in all of Oz, no wizard that
The tremolo violins and increasing energy suspends us until we get this powerhouse of a note. Though instead of going back to our D-flat major key, we suddenly end up in B-flat minor key. B-flat minor is actually the evil cousin of D-flat major. This is actually called a deceptive cadence, as it is the minor key that shares the exact same notes as the D-flat major scale. With B-flat being minor and being associated with evil, it corresponds to when the ensemble comes in and sees this terrible witchcraft before their eyes. At this moment, we get 4 different musical themes simultaneously. Firstly, with Elphaba singing her Defying Gravity and Bring Me Down line. Secondly, with Glinda singing in support, I Hope You're Happy. Thirdly, with the ensemble singing Look at Her, She's Wicked, which is the same from the first song of the show, No One Mourns the Wicked. And fourthly, in the accompaniment, we get this familiar motif which represents the perceived evilness of Elphaba. This motif being another one that Schwartz wrote early in the writing process, something that was to represent her falsely perceived wickedness.
So it's kind of a fanfare, but an evil fanfare. And the intention on my part was to send the message, watch out. The movie opens basically with that music, and it's meant to convey the impression that you're going to be seeing the story of a very evil character. So it's in a minor key, there's a kind of power to it, but it's meant to sound ominous and dangerous.
And heading into the very last note of the song, we get one of my favorite harmonies in the show, the ultimate building of tension, the ultimate defying of gravity. Both in the music and the chorus singing, we have these chords being pulled apart opposite directions, getting further apart. Going up, we have... And going down, we have... This results in some juicy dissonant chords that prepare us for the final punch of D-flat. So what we have in this song are motifs that represent characters and transformations, references to previous songs in the show, references to songs in The Wizard of Oz, and chords and harmonies that bring the story to life. Let's have a full listen, and thank you for watching.
I hope the handle. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. I hope you're happy how you heard your cause forever. I hope you think you're clever.
I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy too. I hope you're proud how you would growl in submission to feed your own ambition. So though I can't imagine how, I hope you're happy right now.
Citizens of Oz, there is an enemy who must be found and captured. Believe nothing she says. She's evil, responsible for the mutilation of these poor innocent monkeys. Her green skin is but an outward manifestorium of her twisted nature. This distortion, this repulsion, this wicked witch!
Don't be afraid. I'm not. It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
Elfie, listen to me. Just say you're sorry before it's too late.
You can still be with the wizard. What you've worked and waited for, you can have all you ever wanted. I know, but I don't want it. No, I can't want it anymore. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes and leap. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't pull me down.
Can't I make you understand? You're having delusions of grandeur.
I'm through accepting limits, 'cause someone says they're so. Some things I cannot change, but till I try, I'll never know. Too long I've been afraid of losing love. I guess I'm lost. Well, if that's love, it too high, 'cause I'm sooner by defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye, I'm defying gravity, and you can't pull me down.
In the name of the Supreme Osman!
What are you doing? Stop it! That's what started all this in the first place, that hideous levitation spell. Stop! Well, where are your wings? Maybe you're not as powerful as you think you are. Sweet Oz. I told you, Glinda.
Oh, didn't I tell you? Bash it in! That's the battering ramekin!
Quick, get on.
What?
Come with me. Think of what we could do together. Unlimited. Together we're unlimited. Together we'll be the greatest team there's ever been. Glinda dreams the way we planned them.
If we work in tandem,
There's no fight we cannot win. Just you and I defying gravity. With you and I defying gravity, they'll never bring us down. Well, are you coming?
Elfie, you're trembling. Here, put this around you. I hope you're happy now that you're choosing this.
You too. I hope it brings you bliss.
I really hope you get it and you don't live to regret it.
I hope you're happy in the end. I hope you're happy, my friend.
Alfie, wait! Sir,
There she is! Don't let her get away!
no, wait. She's...
Is that her?
What are you doing?
She had nothing to do with it. I'm the one you want. It's me.
Elfie?
It's me. So if you care to find me, look to the western sky. As someone told me lately, everyone deserves a chance to fly. And if I'm flying solo, at least I'm flying free. To those who ground me, take a message back from me. Tell them how I am defying gravity. I'm flying high, defying gravity, and soon I'll match them in renown. And nobody in all of Oz, no wizard that there is or was, is ever